Collective, welcome back to the realm of alignment where we unlock the body's hidden code. This is a channeled message. The first thing that happened when I opened my eyes this rising was I heard God saying to me, commitment, the words commitment. And then this full channeled message came to me about commitment. So I feel like some of you or a lot of you may be in the space of being challenged to focus on self-commitment and self-devotion because you're trying to currently pull a manifestation in. Peace Collective, my name is Divine Feminine. Thank you so much for being here. And we are going to get so deep into this topic. I'm really excited about this and willing to share my experiences, and hopefully whatever experiences that you have, you can drop them in the comment section below. Okay, when I woke up, there was this energy of, just commitment. I started speaking to myself out loud, and I was hearing the messages like, if you want commitment, if you want, for example, like some of you might be praying for marriage. Some of you might be praying for a bigger home. Some of you might be praying for land. Some of you might be praying for, a bigger business, more clientele. Some of you might be praying for a lot of different things that require high level responsibility. And if you're having a hard time finding your balance in pulling in these things where meaning you could have a business already and you're hoping for a bigger clientele. So it's already in the works, but you're struggling with actually bringing in the clientele that you need. This message is for you. If that resonates with you, this message is for you. So then I started to hear, if you want these things, if you want to attract these levels of commitment into your life, you're going to have to commit to yourself in some type of way. So then I started thinking, okay, well, commitment to self can look different for everyone. The New Year resolution, for example, is a time of the year, January 1st, where everyone jumps into the gym. Everyone wants to work out, and they tell themselves right before the new year, I'm going to get my body right. Because most of us believe and understand that, commitment to a certain degree opens up the roadway and the pathways for other things to manifest. Even if it's subconscious, you may not have ever thought about it that way. But if you look at how many people focus on their body as a New Year resolution goal, it seems to subconsciously be an awareness that most people know. Once you commit to yourself, you actually open up the pathways for other things to come through. That's why they choose the new year to do so. So I was thinking, everyone's level of commitment isn't going to be the same. So there's a misalignment there. A little bit of sheep mentality there. Not to say that going to the gym isn't a great idea. I obviously believe going to the gym and getting your body right has to be a part of, your good health and good fortune coming in. But for everyone, it may be different. Then I started to hear that some people, it may be that God's telling you to fast. It may be that God's telling you to quit smoking. That might be your level of commitment for you to open up the roads for a specific thing you're asking for. It may be you need to disconnect from materialistic things. That's another level of commitment. It may be you need to go back to school to learn a specific thing that God's been telling you to go back to school about. So all these different levels of commitment will vary depending on the person. And then I also heard, well, the only way that you're going to be able to know what that level of commitment is for you is to hear God's voice. And how do you hear God's voice? Hearing God's voice is going to be the most detrimental part of your journey, because it's spirit that will be leading you on your path to the things that you want to make your way to, your manifestations. So if you're not in prayer, If you're not in meditation, if you're not in fasting, if you're not in any type of deep connection intentionally to spirit, it's going to be hard for you to hear when God's telling you where to go and what moves to make. Another part of that message that was coming through when I was thinking about, how God speaks to us, the journey, and God expressing that a part of you learning to hear God's voice is being in alignment. That is the first step to hearing God's voice, because you have to think of it like this. When you're in alignment, you're going on the straight and narrow path, right? Even if it doesn't look like that in your actual life. The straight and narrow path, you'll know when you're in alignment because everything around you is just, simultaneously pieced together. There's a lot of synchronicities around you. Things are just in perfect order. Things are happening at the perfect time. That's how you know you're in alignment. So you're on a straight and narrow path. The moment you start to veer off of your path is the moment you start to distort God's voice, because there's so many other different voices and energies on the different paths because they're not meant for you. So they're going to cause distractions. They're going to cause confusion. They're going to cause for you to, feel like you don't know what you're hearing. So how you can hear God's voice is to get back into alignment. How do you get back into alignment? You got to be intentional about getting back into alignment. There's so many different ways to do so. Prayer, fasting. Just start committing to yourself. The easiest way to get back into alignment is self-devotion. And that can look so many different ways. You already know what God has asked you to stop doing. You already know what God has asked you to start doing. You already know what God has shared with you for what your future will look like. So you already have the tools, you have the knowledge, you have the communication. Even if you're out of alignment, you can get back into alignment because you have that information already. God has already spoken to you. You've always heard God's voice. Each and every one of us. God speaks to us all. So this is how you can get yourself back into alignment. And then once you get yourself back into alignment, you start devoting yourself to yourself. And then now that you're on the straight and narrow, you'll hear God's voice. God will keep directing you and guiding you and making, the vision clearer every single step you take. So I'm currently experiencing this right now because for the longest time, I was experiencing a creative block. I didn't know what the next step for me looked like. Even though God already shared the vision with me, I felt so confused and I didn't know which direction to go and how to create more things as creative of a person that I am. So I had a hard time and I was struggling. And then what pushed me back into alignment, first of all, was falling flat on my face and completely losing my way and just completely veering off track and losing sight of what I was doing with the intention in the first place. So then I had to find my alignment by just devoting myself to myself. All the things that I'm already doing now are things I've always been doing, but I didn't have the devotion behind it. My schedule was up and down. Whenever I didn't feel like showing up for myself, I didn't. And there was no momentum that was allowed to, be built in what I was doing. I couldn't create the momentum because I wouldn't allow for that to happen. I kept falling off of my goals. But recently, I started realizing that every time I do something for myself and I devote myself to myself, something good happens. So I need to keep doing this, even if I don't see anything good happen right away, because that's the part of the test for the devotion. And I'm still getting deeper and deeper into my self-devotion. Not only am I have a created routine for myself every day, but I'm also fasting. I'm on my 9th day now. Tomorrow is my 10th day of water fasting. And so many messages have been coming to me. And the reason for this story is I finally came to a place where now I'm channeling my messages again. This was a channeled message. I didn't need to go on ChatGPT and type in an idea and create a structured form for me to speak and share my knowledge I already have within myself. So today I woke up and the first thing that came to me was a full channeled message, and I already knew I had the ability to do so, but hearing God's voice, it took a while because there were still things I had to clear out. So this is a very powerful message for some of you. Some of you may need to make room for the things that you're praying for because there's no space for it. And you've definitely heard this message already. But I'm coming to you again to tell you once more. Whatever you're praying for, make room, because when God is ready to put it in your life, okay, it's coming with velocity. It needs space, okay? It needs space. It needs for you to, God needs you to clear out the things that you've already been asked to remove. Not just out of your life when it comes to, in terms of people and relationships, but also out of your auric field, even out of your mental space. You need to clear thoughts out of your head that you keep having. You need to clear the worry, or I know it's easier said than done when it comes to saying clear the worry out of your head, remove the worry, stop worrying, stop being in fear, all these things. It's not just about getting rid of the thing, it's about setting your intention to do so. And that's where you start to get the support. So if you're one of those people who say, like, my life, I can't stop worrying. I got bills to pay. I got mouths to feed. I got a job I don't even like that I have to go to. There are real life things happening. Okay, well, set your intention every single day to find a pocket of peace. That's all you have to do. That is what the faith of a mustard seed looks like. God helps those who help themselves. So the minute you start to plant the seeds of intention to help yourself and to get up out of a certain energy, before you know it, you're just going to be focused on moving forward with so much intention that before you know it, God's just going to remove it. God's just going to remove it. And that's because you helped make way. You helped clear it out. So that's my message for today. And I really pray that whoever was meant to find this message receives this message and lets you know that this is full confirmation that you need to commit to yourself, devote yourself to yourself so that you can absolutely get to the next level. Don't look at what it looks like in front of you. And that was another message too. I heard a couple weeks back, God just kept saying so loud to me before I went to sleep, before and after I woke up. I just kept hearing, regardless of what it looks like. I just kept hearing that, regardless of what it looks like. It doesn't matter what it looks like. And that's how God's going to show up in your life. God's going to bless you, and it doesn't matter what it looks like. You may be asking for something and thinking, oh my gosh, I don't even know how this is going to be possible. Don't worry about that. Because God will show up and change your reality. It doesn't matter what it looks like right now. So I hope that you feel called to this video and to make a change for good, not just for the new year. And I love you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you again for anybody who shares comments below, and also share the video, like the video. I really appreciate all the support for now. And this is also a message for the future people who will be showing up as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate whoever shows up to receive these messages. And I pray that you're able to, put it towards your reality. Please go ahead and check out my workbook on Amazon. It's about to be the #1 book in the world, okay? It is called the Quantum Ascension Workbook. And this is exactly what helped me devote myself to myself. The link is below. And I wouldn't sell bullshit to you guys. This book is amazing. And it's 90 days of focused dedication. And you can continue to take this with you. And the challenge is to never get back off of that. It's a whole lifestyle change. Okay, so, and it's really simple, but it's so intentional. So it's on Amazon right now. You can purchase that workbook and start to get focused on yourself again, okay? And also, before you go, I'm going to link my mom and dad's YouTube channel below so that you can also check them out. They have their traveling video to explore Toronto and share all the amazing things that happen in this beautiful city. So feel free to support them and follow their channel, subscribe, like their videos, comment, and just enjoy the content that they have to share. Okay, so I love you guys. Again, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Aligned, activated, ascended.